Anime. Will I Ate Your Pie win again? You decide what the best anime is. It doesn't even have to be an anime.
I Ate Your Pie is an anime.
He won last year.
Alright.
The second bid war that we have this year is new, and that is the finale game that we're going to play. We're going to play a Mario Party game on stream for you, and you guys have to decide. Anime. Will I Ate Your Pie win again? You decide what the best anime is. It doesn't even have to be an anime.
I Ate Your Pie is an anime.
He won last year.
Alright.
The second bid war that we have this year is new, and that is the finale game that we're going to play. We're going to play a Mario Party game on stream for you, and you guys have to decide which Mario Party game do you want to see. Mario Party 2? Whenever you're ready.
I know it's pretty early, so the dawn is soon to be coming. While we're still doing Castlevania.
So trying to figure it out.
Oh, we're back.
Okay. So this is like kind of a forced cutscene here with Death. You can either attack him twice to end it really quickly, or just wait it out. But just a little prologue cutscene. So one of the main movement techniques in this game, if you jump if you hit jump again before the peak of your jump, Richter will do a backflip. And that on its own is not incredibly useful, but there's also another mechanic where if you whip and then continue holding the whip button, you can walk Richter back and forth without changing his facing, so you can actually moonwalk. And so most of this game is going to be done walking backwards and doing backflips and canceling it with the whip, which every time you do that, you save about 0.25 seconds over just walking normally. It's actually a pretty neat movement technique. It's definitely unique in terms of most speedruns. But you also have to be very judicious about your spacing with enemies and be really knowledgeable about the layouts of each stage. And acting.
Hang on, everybody. We're working on it.
Like, I see the layout.
Yeah. Now, okay, we're back now.
Okay.
Yo,
Going
nice.
in, dude.
Okay. Sorry, everybody, for the troubles here we're having. We're going to try and keep going now.
Alright,
you're
just keep
good
going.
to go.
Alright.
Do you want to... It's up to you. Do you want to try starting over since it was so early in the run, or what?
No, we'll just go.
All right, everybody, give us just a minute. We're going to try and have him stream somewhere else and see if it fixes it. Don't want you guys to miss the Rondo run.
Oh no, I died to death. What a shame.
just
All right.
wish.
We should be back now. And this time it should last through the run. If you want to start over, I think we're early enough in the marathon, you could probably do that.
Awesome. Let's just do that.
Give me like 3 seconds to capture your screen again, it'll be good.
Sure thing.
Okay, everything looks good to me now again. Let's try this again. We'll go ahead and give it the reset here, see if that helps.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1, go. So, as soon as I say that, I see that I'm dropping frames.
Oh no.
Oh,
Is this just not meant to be?
Perhaps.
I believe. I think we could maybe have BB do his run while we figure this out. Oh, there it is.
If it happens again, I'll let you know, and then maybe we'll figure something out.
Okay. Are we up?
Okay, so far. Should be live.
Okay. So this is the death cutscene I was talking about earlier. And he basically just tells you in no uncertain terms that if you continue, you're gonna die. And we're like, nah, man, you have my girlfriend. So we'll see a little bit more of the backflip whip canceling here, which is a really cool movement technique. I can't stress that enough. This game, unlike other classic Castlevania games, doesn't have a double or triple shot pickup. It actually bases how many sub-weapons you can use at a time on how much hearts you have. So if you have like 10 to 20, you can have 2 sub-weapons on screen, I believe. And 20 to 30, you can have 3, or maybe it's, add 10 to each of those totals. I can remember off the top of my head, but it becomes important in the stage 3 boss, especially.
Oh, we'll try to get there, Ice Plug. I will not try to disappoint you. I would hate to do that.
Stage 5 is pretty good. And this movement tech here in the room before the boss, is actually really tricky, getting that all of those hearts out of the pot and then getting back onto the platform before you're out of range. So yeah, this is one of the only fights that utilizes the item crash. I think the only one, right?
Yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah, still incredibly useful technique for this run. Yeah, as you can see, JD's taking some damage here. And he's dead. Yeah, we're good. And each boss has like a desperation attack, like you're gonna see here, or maybe you already saw it since I'm delayed. They don't kill you. They will bring you down to 0 health, but they won't kill you. However, the game kind of tries to crank you when you fight the boss of stage 6. His desperation attack actually kills you. So it's kind of a little spook every time you beat a stage and the boss kind of jumps out at you and you're like, oh god, and then you don't die. But then when it happens in stage 6, you actually die, and it's very tragic. So anyway, you use those basically as much as possible to take the damage so that you don't have to watch the health tick down. This game actually has several branching paths, and in stage 1, JD broke open a wall to get to where the water snake was. And in this stage, there is actually a boss, but we don't have to beat the boss. We can just fall down the pit and find our friend the ferryman, and he will take us to stage 3 without having to fight the boss. And another little cute technique that he did there, similar to, well, exactly the same as moonwalking. When you land on the boat, if you whip and hold the whip button and start walking backwards, you like walk the boat towards the screen barrier, and you actually don't have to like sit still while the ferryman is saying, you know, I'll safely carry you to the other side or whatever he says. You just have to kind of dodge all of the mermen here. JD's playing it very safe. A mechanic in this game that I think is actually really cool that you can abuse with the backflip is when you're ducking as Richter, if you take damage, you actually only have like 2 frames of knockback as opposed to a billion if you're standing. So that's why you saw him kind of ducking there, because if you take damage at the wrong time on that boat, the merc can just straight up knock you off. Not good mud golem spawns there, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of randomness in this game. Sometimes can't be helped.
Yeah. Some places like that just have random enemy spawns, or some enemies have random patterns. Some enemies actually have patterns based on your proximity to them, too, which is so. You're moving throughout this game quickly. Definitely takes a lot of planning. And like I said earlier, JD's picking up certain big hearts that give you 5 hearts instead of 1, specifically for the boss of this stage, because he's going to want to spam him with axes to expedite the boss's death as much as possible. This is another branching path here. He could have continued to the right, or he could continue up here to the left to get back onto the main stage route. But if you hit the spike ball, it breaks the floor and allows you to go to this hidden boss, Together, which is a giant eyeball. Getting that wall meat for safety. So you see very quickly why having enough hearts to use 2 axes at a time is incredibly useful for this fight. When you hit Together with a weapon or a sub-weapon, you kind of push him back, and so when he's all the way up in the top corner, you want to be able to still hit him as quickly as possible. Death animation that you can abuse to lose a lot of health really quickly, so that's one of the places where you'll definitely be taking tons of damage just to save a couple of frames. So stage 4, this is the mountain stage. This is probably one of the most random stages, specifically the second screen. JD will be entering soon. There are both skeletons that drop from the ceiling, and then the frogs. And the skeletons can spawn or not spawn, depending on, what frame you scroll them on screen. Oh no.
I just got owned, like, so hard. But, yeah, these spawns are, like, really random. But, if I can make it to the boss, everything should be fine. If I make it to the boss.
I believe, so. Dude. And luckily we don't have the Bible yet, so not too much to worry about.
Right, yeah, so there's a sub-weapon that I want to pick up, which is the Bible. And, the Bible is very useful. If I can get myself out of here, I think we're good.
Oh! Okay. So yeah, you definitely don't want the birds to drop flea men from the right side of the screen. You want them to be coming from the left side so that you don't get owned like JD just did. Luckily, there's a wall meet here before our friend Delahan. This boss coming up can be pretty tricky though. He does a lot of damage, and the strat is kind of tight with health and timing. So let's see how this goes.
I don't remember this pattern. We'll just yeah, we'll just play it safe.
Okay.
Or not.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Just because of how my life was. It was just you know, I had to change up the strats, and when you have to do that, like, it just gets very very tricky with how you actually do the boss fight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to use all of our hearts to item crash the Bible out of the candle now, which means that JD's gonna have to fight whip only. I believe, right? Unless
Yeah.
Item crashes 10. No, it's 20. But still, having the Bible is better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
Especially in stage 5, it's incredibly useful. It creates a little bit of lag, but it does so much damage to pretty much every enemy that it's invaluable. But yeah, this is one of those fights where if it goes wrong, if you stray from the normal strat, then you're gonna have a real fun time improving. One thing that I forgot to mention that JD's doing right now, actually, as he fights this boss, there you go, nice. When you throw out a whip, you can tap forward twice, and that actually extends your whip by like a very small amount. But it might look inconsequential, but it's actually incredibly useful in a lot of places. And you'll see when he does it, his whip kind of glows a little bit brighter silver or white. So that's pretty useful, especially in that situation. So coming up on stage 5 here, the docks. This is where we will finally get our chance to face off against death, and this is actually where the two paths converge if you took a different route through the game. There is a backside version of this stage that you can get to in stage 4, but you can only unlock it if you beat the game already on this file. And it's really difficult. It doesn't have a boss, but it is incredibly difficult. So speaking from the whip, the ghost sword you're about to see, so you really just kind of are at the mercy of the RNG here, and whether or not it comes down into range for you to whip it. You kind of just have to get lucky, and if you're a top player and you're grinding out attempts, that's really going to be one of the biggest places that you lose a run.
I actually had a good pattern there. It's just that one of the weapons was in my way, and I couldn't like deal with it.
That'll happen though. I mean, and that's another reason why having the Bible here is incredibly useful, because that can happen. The weapons can get in the way. Oh, this screen is tricky. There's get up to the stairs quickly. Yeah, the screen bobs up and down, so that can kind of throw you off. So up on this deck screen here, there's 3 big green ogres. And the strat is you have a pretty precise spacing and timing for backflipping over them, so that when you take damage off of them, they boost you to the left. And that's actually, depending on how much health you have, you kind of manage it by, you can either Bible and attack one of the ogres, which causes a lot of lag and is generally slower, but definitely safer. Or you can just deboost off all 3. And then going into the death fight in the room before death, there is some wall meat and several sub-weapons and hearts. So Anyway, coming up on death here, it's 3 phases. The first phase is by far the hardest. He kind of flies around and summons a bunch of scythes, and scythes kind of have some hang time, and then they focus on your location. They don't like home in on you, but so if you keep moving, you'll generally not get hit. But they can overwhelm you very quickly. This part is completely random. It's very difficult to do quickly and efficiently.
Damn.
Oh no.
Well, disaster run is definitely a disaster. So.
Oh no, he trapped you.
Yeah.
That's all right. So it's weird. It's weird with the way he shoots those skulls. It looks like when they're small that they haven't quite approached the battlefield yet, but you can still hit them while they're small, or they can still hit you and take damage or do damage. So, and in that phase, if you take a hit from one of those skulls he throws at you, then the phase actually repeats itself, and you just kind of have to keep going until you either die or do it without taking a hit. If you move from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, generally you'll be okay, but sometimes he can kind of predict your movement and trap you, like what happened to JD there. Looks like this first phase is going a lot more smoothly.
Yeah.
Hit by a skull again?
Well, no, it was perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with this fight whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is really good. So we're about to see the third phase. Stuff's about to get real here, as you can probably tell by the way he's spinning his scythe. He's ready to face you one-on-one. The worst part about this is actually that the scythes continue to spawn, the small ones, but JD has a bunch of health, so he can just tank it.
No, pretty intense. Just let me know and I can get him some donations.
Oh, this is a great time.
Perfect.
Okay. So we got some donations in. We have $5 from Ghost King. That says, yo, it's JRTA Marathon again. Happy to support last year. Meeting Cesare and Honky was really cool. So I'm excited to help more JRTA people get to such a great event. Donating for this to go to the one true best anime of all time, Inferno Cop. So we have our first nominee for best anime of all time. Be sure to get your donations in.
I got to point out, this is the first time, I think, in the history of best anime at JRTA that Pi was not winning.
That's a very good point. Will he continue his winning streak? Only you can decide. Remember, that is going on throughout the entirety of the marathon, so donate for your best anime of all time. And then we have a $10 donation from Spiriax. These talented people should definitely go. And then we just got $8 in from Shotgun Ninja. That says, here's hoping for a prosperous marathon. And just a reminder, the next incentive we have coming up is the Link to the Past, changing 80% into low percent. And then after that is Kirby's Adventure, changing 80% to 100%. And then the one after that is Dragon Quest, Bring Princess Laura to the Dragon Lord. Those are our next 3 incentives coming up. So be sure to donate to those specifically if you'd like. And also, we are giving out prizes throughout the remainder of the marathon. The one currently going on is the Zelda A Link to the Past SFC cart. So as long as you donate $5, pretty much during this Castlevania block in Rocco-chan, you are entered to win that cart. So be sure to enter in for that. And also, just a reminder, tell your friends and family about JRTA4. Get all your friends and buddies in here to join in on the good time. Spread the word.
Yes.
Thank you for all your donations thus far, and I hope you continue to enjoy the marathon.
And shoutouts to Golden, Cent, and Casby and everybody that put this together, continue to put it together every year. It's a really, really wonderful cause and a wonderful marathon. And special thanks to the runners that have volunteered to do runs for this as well. You guys are awesome.
You're awesome too, Countdown.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
shouldn't have. So
And
we're...
just to finish.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Oh,
and
and
just
just...
saying. Yeah.
Oh, and JD too. Yes, of course. You gotta make sure. Like, no, Countdown. You're awesome, JD. My bad.
So luckily, rolling into stage 6 here, there's a Bible, actually, you can pick up in the wall there. It takes like 8 seconds, I guess, 8 or 10 seconds to go out of your way to get it, but you know, for a marathon situation, it's definitely great to have. So if you're familiar with the Castlevania series, you're going to see some familiar phases here, like this giant bat. And luckily, he drops a ton of hearts. Actually, that's really fortunate that they coded that. At least from from a speedrun perspective, because it's really nice to have that boost in hearts. The Bible consumes 3 hearts every time you use it, and if you've had to use it more than you want to because of backup strats or whatever, then you can be pretty low. So that's a nice little savior. Nice mummy fight there. That guy normally, the mummy coming up normally throws bandages out, but you can just drop a Bible once you land on the first block, and it just destroys all of the bandages immediately. He throws like a flurry of them, so if you don't kill it with the Bible, it can be kind of annoying. It's hard to like close in on him. Frank putting you in the chokehold.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up on the shaft fight, this is the boss I was referring to earlier where his desperation attack can actually kill you. Those orbs will come crashing down. Didn't get the left warp. You want him to warp to the left immediately after you throw the Bible when the fight starts, because you can get more hits in before he starts his cycle. He goes fire orbs, and then lightning orbs, and then I guess dark energy orbs or something. And JD with a masterful fight.
I just wanted to check in on the donation incentive, if that has been met at all.
It has.
Yo, sick. Let's save our girlfriend.
Yes. So the ultimate goal of the run, normally in just an RTA setting, would be to, of course, defeat Dracula. But in the story of this game, there are 4 maidens, or 3 or 4, I can't remember. One of which is Maria, who you may know from Soten or Soten. The other of which, or one other of which, is Richter's girlfriend, Annette. And Dracula has her locked up in stage 7, the final stage before Dracula here, the clock tower. And so you guys were kind enough to donate so that we can save Annette. And Richter's pretty pleased about that, so thank you guys. This is a pretty tight platforming segment throughout. That first part with the bats, that can get really out of hand really fast. If the bridge underneath you is collapsing, if you take too much damage, oh no, this guy's got the juice.
I know, right?
Wow. So yeah, if you take too much damage, or you just get knocked back too much, you can kind of just get stuck and fall and hit without any recourse. But again, JD got through that masterfully. So this is where we save Annette with the key that we found from that awful bird. Nice backflip.
Thank you. She's all happy to see Richter. She's like, and Richter's just like, yeah, I'm a vampire hunter. It's no problem for me.
No big deal. But you need to run along so I can slay the Dracula.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
The music here is great. It's just like but I have to take on Dracula. And look at this sad face. She's just like, no, don't fight Dracula.
It's like, you saved me, you got what you wanted. He's like, no. I do love the image of Dracula that scrolls by, though. That's a really sick drawing. Or rendering of him. So going back to the run, actually, it's really convenient that this is an incentive because, as you noticed or may not have noticed, getting the key is a sub-weapon. And actually, when you use the key on an enemy, it does more damage than, I think, anything else. And the task of this game gets the key in the front side of stage 2, where Maria is, and then just has Richter everything for the rest of the run. But that's ultimately not viable for a real-time player, at least that I've seen. So, anyway, it's fortunate that in the same room that you find Annette, there is a candle that has a Bible. I think there are only 3 or 4 Bibles in the whole game. So, and you've seen 3 of them. So what you're going to see here is the Bible makes, when Richter throws it, it gives him some invincibility frames, and then the Sword Lords kind of drag their swords behind them, and when the invincibility frames wear off, then you get a big old damage boost off the tip of the sword, which is really convenient, especially in that part. That part can get really out of hand, but JD handled it well and killed the Sword Lords after he missed the clip there. You're meant to actually go around to the left and then back up to get to that stairwell, but you actually can do a somewhat precise but not terribly difficult backflip timing off of the stairs and get yourself up there. So coming into Shaft Ghost here. Shaft Ghost, you can get in the Infinite, just defend being a Marvel 2 player, and see how it goes. Of considerable skill, I might add.
The fight is Pringles.
Once you pop, fun don't stop, dude.
Exactly.
Nice. And on the last hit there, you actually wait a little bit to get that last hit so that he summons the beast that comes out of the ground, and that's kind of your way of getting yourself to low health. Because Chef Ghost doesn't have a desperation attack as far as I know. So that's a good way to shave off a few frames. So we got the Wombo combo and going into Dracula. You might recognize this. In Soten it says this is Bloodlines, but this game is not Bloodlines, in case you haven't noticed. So the first phase of Dracula, you actually want to be, well, I guess it's preference really, but you want the Bible to hit him for 3 ticks of damage, and then with the last of his non-invuln frame state, you want to hit him with the whip. It's kind of a really crappy way of explaining it, but you do 3 ticks of damage with the Bible and then hit him with the whip before he teleports. Based on which way you're facing, you actually throw the Bible higher when you're facing to the right than to the left, so that's why JD had to jump before throwing the book. Alright, so phase 2 has a couple of attacks. You can be really scary. You really have to know and commit when you're going to run under him. Oh, nice kill.
Thank you.
But yeah, it takes, because Richter moves so slow, you have to really, be good about your movement there.
Yeah, it was a pretty good Dracula fight, and that was time, so thank you all for watching Rondo of Blood. Sorry about the internet issues and stuff like that. It's just kind of a mess today for me. Marathon luck, I guess. So
it happens. I'm actually glad that we got it to work though, because I didn't want to have to, remove you or anything like that. I'm glad we got it.
Yeah, thank you all for saving Richter's girlfriend, and yeah, please stick around JRTA Marathon. It's the best one yet.
Awesome. Thank you, JD, for Rondo of Blood. Have a good rest of your weekend. I think we're going to see you back here later in the marathon too, correct?
Yes, I will be back tomorrow playing Batman, so I'll see you guys, and yeah, more Castlevania coming your way.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
GG.
All right, folks. Stick around as we set up for the next game. Once again, you're watching JRTA4. Take a minute here to read a little bit more about what you're seeing. And look at the incentives as well. We do have some coming up, including the link to the past incentive, which is it's in progress here, but we're still going to need some donations to make that one happen, to turn it into a low percent speed run. A little over $200 to go still. All right, so coming up next, we're going to have Harmony of Dissonance. Stick around, everybody, and I'm going to play some tunes while I set up, so hang tight.